he's trying to be so nonchalant about it and act so like, oh, it's such a rocker dude. He's done, the shades are off. It's time to talk Coachella. Yeah, I was waiting that whole conversation to say that. Welcome back to the Setlist, guys. I'm Riley, this is Charles, and today we've got a real treat for you because we're doing one of the greatest albums and one of the greatest debut albums of all time. Definitely maybe by Oasis. Charles, this record that we've got, this vinyl, is a little bit special. Do you want to tell us why?
I mean, it's special to me for a couple of reasons. One, this is the first record that I actually bought, so
very special.
Obviously, it's got that sentimental value, and also it was for the anniversary of the album last year, limited to 2,000 copies. I can see it right here. I've got number 137, so I was pretty proud of that.
That's cold. That is cold. Well, there you go. That's your pension sorted right there. You know, you can retire off of that probably until the next anniversary when they release a better.
Yeah, until 10 years when they make a better mix, because I'm not a massive fan of
It's nice though. We've got a nice little differentiation to the normal vinyl here. It's nice and grayscale, which, I mean, you can't beat, can you, really? It's classic, but it goes hard, as they say.
Exactly. I mean, so do the actual discs. I know we're going a bit off on hardware a bit here, but nice pearl print.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
nice.
right.
Yeah.
So I want to start. Normally we start like, what's your favourite song? Let's do a bit about the album. I actually want to start with something a little bit different here.
Oh, God.
Because I was just scrolling through, doing a little bit of research about this album and stuff, and I saw a video came up about what is the best 3-track run in this album, because there are so many bangers that flow. And I think...
I've got my answer already.
Go on then, that was quick.
I know, I've got it. I'm just looking at it here. It's side 3, Supersonic, Bring It On Down, and Cigarettes and Alcohol.
Okay, fair enough.
As a 3-track run.
That is pretty insane. I'll give you that. I didn't even get that far into it. I had Live Forever Up in the Sky in Colombia.
Yeah, I was looking at sides. But I suppose if you look at it on Spotify, then...
Yeah. On vinyl, it's much different.
If you look at it on Spotify, then I can agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where my music listening goes at the moment, because some of us can't afford vinyl.
You think I can afford that? It's an issue.
A correction, no
issue.
one can afford vinyl. It's good, though. It's had a nice resurgence, which is what we like to see. Right, so now we've spoken a little bit about what our favourite 3-track run is. Super important bit. Let us know yours in the comments, of course. Charles, do you want to tell us a little bit? Do you want to drop us some little trivia on this album?
Where should we start? The recording of it, or...?
Yeah, what year did it come out? Let's go nice and easy.
1994.
Cheers, mate.
1994. I don't know why, that was just really stressed me out. 1994 is when it came out, so obviously the 30th anniversary was last year.
Yeah.
Because we can all count.
It's a big anniversary.
It is a big one. It is definitely a big one, and I think... I don't know if it's just you. I mean, when I'm 20, you're 19, so it's not exactly like we're old, but I don't know. I just think 30 years ago seems longer than the mid-90s.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's one of those things where if I said to my mum, like, oh, how long was 30 years ago? She'd probably go like, oh, the 70s.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, 30 years is a big anniversary, and we've got a few more. I believe it's the 30th anniversary for What's the Story this year as well.
Oh.
Because it's 2025.
Yeah, of course.
Or is it 95, 96? It's either this year or next year. Off the top of my head, I've just completely forgotten. But I think it is this year.
I would have said this year. But then again, I'm not too clued in on all that stuff. What I do want to ask you is this is their debut album. 30 years is a hell of a long time to still be... They're going on their reunion tour that you're going to see, you lucky sod.
Yeah, obviously.
Going 30 years and your debut album still being banger after banger after, and still being super listenable today, 30 years, do you think that is old enough for it to be considered timeless, or do you need to have a bit of a longer span to be considered like a timeless masterpiece?
I don't know. I mean, 30 years is quite a long time in terms of music. You know, there's a lot of artists now that you wouldn't say are timeless that came out before this.
Yeah.
I just think the topics of this album, you can't really like go off it. It's like all that sort of like growing up a bit, like and just like the wall of sound on this is brilliant. Whether people like that or not, I quite like it. I don't know. I just think for 30 years, it's definitely carried on strong in terms of the topics.
Yeah. So timeless masterpiece yet or not?
Yeah, I can give it 10 more years to give it that.
Yeah.
To give it that.
I'd say at the moment, definitely maybe.
It's a classic. Okay, that's you just waiting for that one, weren't you?
Yeah, I was waiting that whole conversation to say that.
Horrible. You led me down a hole just so you could drop a stupid little joke.
Okay, right. After that absolutely generational joke, I'd like to know, what is your favourite song? What is the number? If you could have one song, what is your favourite song on Definitely Maybe?
Hard question that. Probably Columbia or Live Forever. It's close. I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to pick because I like all the songs in this album.
It is. It's difficult to pick a favourite. I think does because you're a much bigger Oasis listener than I am.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more mainstream Oasis than you are. So does you really like Live Forever? Obviously, hugely popular song. Does that like take away from it from you?
In what way?
The fact that it's really popular and it's like, I wouldn't say overplayed, but it's played more than the others. Did that take away from the listening experience to you?
No, not for me. It's not like Wonderwall, where I think that, because that went so like crazy.
Yeah.
Which I think Wonderwall is still a good song. I know people go, oh, it's rubbish, but it's definitely overplayed. It's one, I don't know.
Right, yeah. It's got to be creeping up on like a couple billion streams now, surely, right?
It's got to be close.
I think it's over 1 billion streams.
It is over 1 billion.
But I don't know how close we are to 2 billion, but I think that is a hell of a lot of time to play a song, and it's everywhere.
I think for Live Forever, I think it's got a lot more meaning to a lot of people than like Wonderwall does.
Yeah.
Wonderwall's it's like kind of a lot of nonsense. Whereas that, I mean, this sort of little fact, that was sort of written in a time where just coming out of like grunge, sort of Nirvana and stuff. And they're going like, oh, I don't want to live, blah, blah, blah. And that's like a complete opposite to it.
Yeah.
It's about like wanting to live.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's one of those songs that's a bit like hope, I guess. Some people take it like that.
There's a couple of bits of Oasis that I've like learned through like actually taking a bit of a dive into them, and a lot of their stuff is like they like to do the head-to-head opposites. Like they like to do like Definitely Maybe. Like they like to do the like confusing head-to-head sort of stuff with their wordplay, and it's in quite a few of their lyrics as well. And I've really liked that. I think it's I don't want to get all nerdy here, but it's a great like English technique to use, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
I thought we finished that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we did. Well, you know, got to drop the knowledge somewhere, otherwise A levels wasn't worth it. You know what I mean?
It wasn't worth it, but I think I know what you mean. A lot of their lyrics are a load of nonsense, though.
Yeah.
Even Noel Gallagher's admitted it himself.
Yeah, but like, there's not a lot of massive bands whose lyrics aren't nonsense.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, I know we're going off this album, but like you look at Champagne Supernova,
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
No, it's
Literally
a good point.
no sense. Which songs don't have to make sense for them to be good, but
Yeah, I'm massively in that camp because I have this conversation with my girlfriend quite a lot because she listens to music through the words and like she reads it like poetry, and I only listen to the sounds. I couldn't care less what they say, and I couldn't care how they say it. If it sounds good and the instruments are cool,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what it is. I'll listen to it. But I think it's doing that with Oasis is super interesting because their lyrics, some of them are really like they do hit home. Some of them like they have some really good pieces, like great songwriting, and some of it is just like gibberish.
Well, I mean, like Supersonic's written in like half an hour.
Yeah,
It's like, well, obviously not a lot of thought has gone into the fact that it actually has to mean anything, but music doesn't have to mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to mean anything.
no, exactly. It's just got to do something.
Exactly.
In my opinion, personally. Like you said, I was just about to come on to Supersonic being written in half an hour. Say you're writing Supersonic. I love that song. I think it's one of their best. It's absolutely fantastic in every way. Heavy enough for me. I love the vocals on it. I think Liam was in a different groove. So, if you're going to write a song in half an hour, because they like just go off on your own, like a bit like we did in the Fleetwood Mac episode, where Stevie Nicks went off and wrote Dreams in half an hour or a couple of hours. What zone do you think you have to be in to write a song in half an hour?
A zone where you actually want to make it. it's one of them where like there was a massive thing about trying to get out. People always say Burnage is actually Burnage isn't a horrible place in Manchester, but it's by no means like good.
Yeah.
In the sense, and I think it's that sort of trying to break out of where you've grown up. And I think if you've got that sort of drive, I think you can write songs that have some sort of meaning because they mean more to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's a load of just like what I've just said there is a load of like nothing. But
it makes sense, though, right?
It's like you're trying to make it and trying to get out of somewhere. And I think if you have that drive in you, you have the ability to like just pump out songs. Yeah.
Well, this is their like debut, so obviously they must have wanted to make like all of them. But I mean, to write a song like that in half an hour, that like you go back and play it and they go, "That's on the album." Like, how the hell did you do that? Yeah. We've been working in here making songs all day, and you've just whipped that up in half an hour. For me, I think I can kind of envision it. Like, you've got to be so like locked to it, like nothing. You can't hear anything else going on. Like, I can imagine it. If I was going to be in that position, I can imagine spending hours recording and just getting bored of it and being like, "This is fun and all," but like, while I'm doing this, I'm hearing bits of songs and I just think, all right, sod this. And you just go and sit down and just don't move until it's done. And it only takes half an hour when you're in that mindset.
I think, like I was just saying, I know I know a lot of the lyrics are a load of nonsense, but you've got to be able to put it into some sort of category where you can like control that.
Yeah.
So I think if you're like down at a studio where they're all like just messing about, because that's what it would have been. They would have all just been like recording whatever they had written for the day, and then probably like drinking all day, which is what happened. If you're in the ability to go and walk off and just sit on your own in some sort of like quiet space and write something and bring it back and get it recorded like same day, I think there's definitely a claim that Noel Gallagher is one of the best songwriters, at least in the last 30 years.
Yeah, he's got stake in that argument.
Yeah.
You touched on recording there. Tell me a little bit about how this was recorded.
So, obviously their first recording session, they just didn't like how it came out. It was too flat. It wasn't like definitely maybe now it was just too like clean shaven, I suppose. Whereas this, when they went down to Sawmills in Cornwall, which isn't actually that far from us really, and they had Owen Morris, and they just turned everything up, like compressing things, proper like wall of sound on certain things, not to the extent they did in Be Here Now. It was just that sort of like, they got that crunch that they wanted in that recording session. And I think it was only a couple of weeks. It only took a couple of weeks, I think, to do this. Yeah,
it's a little bit like, it feels a little bit like breaking character for them. Like, if you think about now, if they were to put out an album now, in my opinion, their whole public thing is not caring, not bothered, basically. If they were to put out an album now, I feel like they'd record it, and if it sounded good enough, they'd be like, sod it, the people will buy it.
Yeah.
But like this album, like you say, it was too polished for them. I think that's a brilliant little trinket of this album, is that it was too nice. And so they were like, take it back and like just whack up everything and let's just see what happens and see how it comes out.
But yeah, I think like some of the songs in here, like they can't be clean. I think when you open the album on Rock and Roll Star, if that's too clean, it's like, oh. But when it comes into that crunching like little like bend at the beginning, it just opens up the album. You know what you're going to be in for.
Yeah, exactly. You need that sort of thing. You really need it. And I think and the other thing with being too polished is if you look at songs like Slide Away on this, if Slide Away is more polished and a bit like cleaner than it is now, it turns into a bit of more of a ballad, and it's not supposed to be ballady.
Yeah, okay.
Do you not agree with that?
I think it is a bit of a ballad in its own way, because it's one of those. It's a nice story.
Yeah, but it's not a classical ballad. Do you know what I mean?
It's not like a November Rain. Where
no,
it isn't, but I don't know. I just think on this, because this has got all the songs on it, like all sides got 3 songs, so it's 12 songs, and this has got Slide Away on it. I actually would have to say that on this specific one where it has Slide Away on it, that is probably one of my favourites.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Slide Away. I think Slide Away and Columbia are my 2 favourites, like, of all time. Slide Away just has a special. I don't know what it is. I think I watched them live do it, not physically. But I watched like some live performances, and it's just like it's the bit at the end.
It's the bit
don't know, don't care. That bit is just like so cool to see, especially looking back on it now with like they're reforming again and like all the drama and stuff. And as a British citizen, whether you like it or not, you are invested in Oasis.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I don't think anyone. I don't think any. There's certainly nobody that I know that doesn't at least know the drama like of what happened.
Well, yeah, because I mean they were making headlines every week.
Yeah,
like, it's kind of hard. It would be hard not to know if you went and spoke to someone on the street and said, "Oh, who are Oasis?" They'd probably go, "It's those two brothers that don't like each other."
Yeah.
But they still know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone can name a song, right? I mean, everyone can at least name Wonderwall. Okay, right now, Oasis done, the shades are off. It's time to talk Coachella, because obviously Coachella happened about last week, I think, week before. And I would say massive failure. It's been labelled the influencer Hunger Games because it was just full of your YouTubers, your TikTokers, your Instagrammers, all these people that are the only people that can afford it in the world. And they rock up, take their photos, don't go and they're not there for the music. They're there for the to say they've been there, and then they go home, which I think's dismal to start with. But I think we're going to talk about a couple of sets, right? And the first one I want to talk about is the one that wound me up the most out of everything that happened at Coachella. This wound me up the most, and it was Green Day, their debut set at Coachella, legendary American band Green Day, and they brought on this fella. To sing with them and play guitar for them and stuff, and he's all like tall emo, like young blood looking fella, like the curtains, all that whole shebang. And he gets on stage, and Billy Joe Armstrong gives him his guitar, and he's like, "Here we go, right." And he's instantly just not bothered. He's trying to be so nonchalant about it and act so like, "Oh, I'm such a rocker dude," and he's forgetting that he's playing with like a stunning, like iconic band. And I just can't like wrap my head around it. He walks off every like time he's trying to grab him, like, come and sing, like come and be front of stage. He's just wandering off. He's just acting like the stage is his own. And I think it's such bad stage etiquette to have as a fan that's been chosen out of like thousands of people who would kill to be, me included, would kill to be up there. And he's just making a mockery of it. And I think he's got a bit of backlash from it. And I have to say, I don't condone hating towards anybody, but I don't like him.
I mean, I think you know, definitely like it is out of order when you've got someone on there like trying to, because Billy Joe Armstrong is trying to have the moment on the stage with the fan and like sing together, like arm around him and stuff, and he keeps walking off. The only defense I'll give to him is that he was probably just really nervous, and standing still looking over the whole crowd was probably like quite nerve-wracking, especially when you've got like that job of playing guitar to fulfill. I bring it down to when you talk on the phone, I can't stand in one place on the phone. I have to walk around.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean? the thing is, I did a bit of digging into this fella because obviously I didn't want to hate on him if I didn't know the full spiel. So he actually plays in a band, and they do shows, and they get quite a few people. They've done some warm-ups. They get a decent amount of numbers at their gigs, enough for him to be comfortable with stage nerves. And I will say this,
I didn't know that though.
I've never played in front of 80,000 people, but after so many years of playing in front of 2,000 people, 3,000 people, I think you learn to deal with it no matter the numbers. And I think he was just being cocky, and if he was nervous, I'd have expected him to be a bit more like quiet, a bit more calm, a little bit like more reserved. But he just went out there and he just completely overshadowed. The performance.
He was definitely trying to make a moment for himself. Which, if he wasn't in a band like you just said, I'd kind of get it. Like, but I don't know.
I mean, it feeds into, for me, it's that thing about the influencer Hunger Games.
It's that celebrity entitlement.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, he's on stage. How many followers can I get from this? Like that is just abhorrent to me that is even possible in the music world. I was watching a debate go through in like Instagram comments about Coachella and the ticket pricing and how it's absolutely impossible to afford going there. And there was this one account in there, like an anonymous account, saying like, I can't afford it. I've always wanted to go. I've never been able to go. I could afford the ticket. It's when I get there, I can't afford like 50 quid for a bottle of water and stuff like that. It's just impossible for me as a normal functioning adult. And this influencers replying in the comments trying to defend themselves, going, it's not that it's too expensive, you just can't be bothered to save up for it. And it's like, if you just saved all year round, then you would be able to afford it. And I had to jump in at that point.
My issue is most influencers are sent there by brands.
I read that comment and I had to jump in. I had to reply to it. And I said to her, I was like, you can afford it with this week's views on TikTok. He can afford it with a year at work. Like, there's a massive difference there. It would be good to have some sort of like alignment with people who can't afford it, like for your brand. And the other thing is, why should you have to work your absolute hind legs off all year, like miss out on trips away with family, with friends, missing out on trips to the pub or whatever, just to go to a music festival? Like, I get it that it's prolific.
But Coachella at that, I don't know why anyone would want to go to it. The crowds are always dead.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just there for their photos and they're like, oh, look at me, I was at Coachella, blah, blah, blah. Like, get dressed up for it. Yeah. They're like, it's always like the get ready with me for Coachella videos you see on TikTok. It's like, right, fine, I get it, but you should be going there for the lineup, not because you've been sent there by a brand to like promote whatever they've sent you. Yeah.
I saw the... I was doing a little dive, just scrolling through the Coachella experience this year, and I found people promoting their like luxury tents, like, oh, this is where I'm staying for Coachella, and it's like, it's literally like a huge tent, like like 4 gazebos, and he's got a double bed with bedding in there. He's got a record player in there with power hooked up to it and stuff like that. He's got a fridge. He's got loads of like food and stuff. I had to buy a couple snacks. It's like a trolley full gets wheeled in. He's got like lighting, he's got everything, and he's got like a sunroof in it and stuff like that built in. And then I scroll down, there's people camping in like the fields, like all the poor people camping in the fields, and they are literally like, please don't hate us, like we're not that person. And I think going to Coachella full stop shouldn't be a crime like it's being made out to be on social media at the moment. But I think we should start alienating some of the elite that go there, because it's just ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
You look at like Reading and Leeds Festival over here, and a lot, you get some good weather some years, but you see other years and everyone's camping. I know there are like more luxury ones that you can pay for. Yeah. You can pay for them, but the majority of people aren't influencers like they are at Coachella. The majority of people at Coachella, I bet, are what they would class as an influencer. Yeah. With all the... I saw one, pretty similar, big gazebo. He's laid out this, like, table. He's got, like, all the same stuff. He's got his, like, guitar there. Yeah. It's like, you've just moved into this place for, like, a few days.
Yeah. Living in absolute luxury. And I just think it's crazy. I don't understand it. I don't understand why that's allowed to happen. And I read all the comments comparing it to British crowds and British festivals. And that's something I want to talk about now. Going on to talk about...
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Brian May coming out with Benson Boone at his set on the first weekend. Now, that is like a massive thing to happen. Like, that's one of the most iconic, legendary, popular, famous, I could shower him with compliments, guitarists of all time. An utter legend. And he came out to perform Bohemian Rhapsody, the mantelpiece of like everything Queen did. And no one knew who he was. No one reacted.
So flat.
Like, I've never seen it.
You've probably all seen the videos, right? But the crowd is... I've never seen a crowd more dead than that. You bring out, like you just said, one of like the biggest sort of... Like a guitarist icon. And it's just nothing. It's like radio silence. It's like... If that was over here, it would go right off. It would go like mental.
Yeah, and that's what I want to go into now is, so imagine you're Benson Boone, and you've done the first weekend, you've brought out Brian May, and it was flat, no one's there. Imagine you've got a weekend at Coachella and a weekend at Reading Festival, let's just say they line up. What guitarist and what song do you bring out in America that gets the crowd going, and what song guitarist do you bring out in the UK that gets the crowd going?
Oh. You could probably bring Brian May out over it, and you just switch it around, and it would go crazy.
Absolutely.
In America, I mean, I don't know. You'd have to bring out some sort of like country guitarist, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Who's going to do the numbers?
Can't think of a name off the top of my head, but it would have to be some like country guitarist, I reckon, because they're all obsessed with that over there.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, if I was Benson Boone, I'd be asking somebody like your Zach Bryans and stuff like that to come out and do a little song.
It's like, it's not even that he's like a legend by any means, and I'm not a fan of his music, but you can understand why that would go off over there.
He's massive in America.
He is huge in America.
And he's a bit like someone called him like the Robbie Williams of country music. Because
is that not an insult?
Well, kind of. But like Robbie Williams didn't break into America the same way that Zach Bryan hasn't really broken into the UK. Like, it's not really crossed the sea.
I don't know. Zach Bryan's always on the radio over here.
To be honest, I've never heard a Zach Bryan song. Maybe one, but I'd never pick it up.
I couldn't tell you the name.
No.
Or anything.
It's like, I think, I just thought that was a brilliant comparison. I thought I had to mention it.
It is a pretty good comparison, though.
Right, there we go. Coachella's basically been wrapped up there. I just wanted to rant about Green Day, to be honest. I just thought it was just disgraceful. So I'm glad I got that out of my system. Now, we can talk about something a little more fun.
Yes.
Charles, what did we go and see in the cinema the other day?
Oh, me and Riley had a really cute date the other day.
We did.
Last Thursday. We went to watch the Pink Floyd live in Pompeii, the sort of redone one. Only just limited showings, I think it was 2 dates or something.
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable.
Yeah. I was going to say, what did you think? Because I was blown away. I know it was around metal, and I know a bit about metal, but I'd never really I've never listened to an album that immersively before. Mm-hmm. I've never felt as and I tried listening to it and stuff when I got home again, because I was like, that didn't feel like listening to metal. And then I listened to it again and I was like, I can't get into this as much as I was into that. I was locked in.
I'll tell you what it is. Because obviously there were songs that weren't on metal, but the main one was Echoes.
Yeah.
But I think the reason you can't get into that is because Echoes in its whole on the record is 4 minutes long.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I'd happily listen to that. I've got it on vinyl and I'll listen to that all the time.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of an addiction, really. But
I really do. I feel like I did love Pink Floyd before, but not to the extent that I do after watching that. I just felt like I got such a taste for it.
Do you think that you've got more into them now that you've watched that film?
Yeah, I mean, I love Dark Side of the Moon. I've always been into Dark Side of the Moon, but some of their other stuff, to be honest, hasn't really been at the forefront of my music listening. It's been there. It's just not. I've never really paid attention to it. But since watching that, I've been so enthralled in it. Even getting a taste for them as a band a little bit more.
Quite funny.
Just they're a bit mental, to be honest. They're all, apart from David Gilmour, the impression I got from that was they're all nutters, apart from Gilmour, and he's semi-sane. But yeah, it'll be out on streaming services and stuff, surely by now, right?
Should be.
I think I've seen it on Amazon Prime. If you get the chance, please watch it, because it is really, really impressively done.
And it's just over an hour as well, so it won't take a lot of your time.
No,
really.
Yeah, it's just so worth it. It's just a masterpiece. It's done so well as well. I think remaking the whole set in Pompeii and stuff like that, that's not an easy task to undertake. So
I've seen a lot of people criticising it a little bit because it is different to the original film in the sense, not the editing. Well, the editing. There's some bits that aren't in it that were in the original, but I thought just watching it for what it was in the cinema, because we watched it on IMAX.
Yeah.
So the sound was insane. I think that's what really sold it for me, was being able to hear those songs in such a high quality audio. Yeah,
totally. It was in that we were in a massive IMAX screen with crazy speakers, and it just it was. There's not really a word for.
We were back middle as well, so we just had it.
We got the perfect seats for it. It was just absolutely out of this world. So it's definitely worth a watch. Definitely to anybody, even if you're not a massive fan, it'll be a great way to convert you.
I think it's one of those films as well. Just to finish this bit off, if you like music, it's one of those you have to see. You have to go watch it. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing we both did when we got out is text our families and stuff, saying you have to go and see that. You have to go and see that. It was the first thing we both did, and then we got drunk. So it was excellent overall.
Right, I think that just about wraps everything up for today. Thanks for watching. This is the Setlist podcast. I think Riley's got a few things he'd like to sort of mention.
Pick me. Yes, we have some new bits to the set. We've got a couple of pedals here. We've got Boss Loop Station, an overdrive, and I believe a fuzz or something of the sort. I actually don't know. These are my pedals, and I literally haven't used them as much as I should, which is a sin. But we've also got, if you can see behind me, we've got a set list. Now, I'm going to leave that there. And if you want to know a bit more about that, you're going to have to come back for the next episode, because that's where we're going to be doing a little talk into the set list, why we're created, how we were created, and just a bit more about us. I feel like we need to get to know our audience a bit better, you know what I mean?
Do they need to get to know me, really?
Nope.
No, I think we're right. No,
Right.
yes. Anyway, for God's sake. Thanks for watching. Just make sure you check all the socials for like new clips, updates, little interactive bits on stories, which I've been slacking with recently. But I will be getting back onto it, I promise. So yeah, all good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All good?
We've clutched up there.
Yeah, we've done all right there.
All right, thank you very much for watching. You've been the Setlist. Goodbye.